This is a meeting of the Township Committee, April 28th, 2025. The notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times, and by posting at the Middletown Township Municipal Building and filing with the Township Clerk on March 19th, 2025. Committeeman Clark.
Here.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Here.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Here.
Mayor Perry.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor the troops serving worldwide, defending our constitutions, freedoms, and way of life. Thank you. Our first item on tonight's agenda, we have a certificate presented to Officer Nico Zempel for his active duty service. If you'd like to come forward with Police Chief Craig Weber and Deputy Chiefs Paul Bailey and John Werner.
Everyone. Obviously, as many of you know, in Middletown, we're incredibly fortunate to have a great police department, full of dedicated professional individuals that protect us each and every day. And, but what most people don't know is that many of our police officers are reservists, or they're still active duty that can take part in going out and securing not just parts of Middletown, but going out and securing parts of our world. And we've been certainly fortunate to have some of those officers come and work for this township, and we're incredibly grateful for the service and sacrifice. You know, we hold that moment of silence every township committee meeting. I just spoke to my brother for the first time since he was now in Japan, and so I really think he's been disappointed. But I think about all the individuals, including our police officers, that are protecting us here and around the world. So, Chief Weber, if you want to give a little bit of background on Officer Zempel here. Okay. Thank you.
Officer Nick Zampelli was great. With his wings. On the reserve side, I am Captain Nicholas Zampelli. I had the honor of going over to the one to Al-Top Garrison, Syria, and serving. Lands that were refugees at the time of the Roman native land.
Wow.
But as a service member, and a lot of other cops from a lot of other towns that were over there. Tried to thank everyone else.
For your service. You know, that we live in a world that every single day, unfortunately, we read about dangers, and to know that we have an unbelievable, brave, courageous, patriotic officer that is willing to put his life, his family, on hold, to go over and protect, others, people that he will never meet. Individuals that will go and into worst parts of this world, and protect, is what makes America. And you are a shining example of that. So, we have this certificate, which is. Today, we're here to recognize and salute Officer Zempel on his active duty service. We proudly welcome you home and thank you for your service to the United States Army and to our nation. While deployed for 9 months in Syria, you served as a captain and led a team of soldiers for the base defense of, you're gonna tell me, Middletown? Okay. Middletown Garrison. They can't just go with Smith, they gotta go Middletown. With your crew and engaged in multiple drone attacks, which we're gonna talk about later. For the remainder of your time, you took command of the Blackfoot Troop 102, a recipient of the Combat Action Badge and the Bronze Star. You've set a strong example of courage, patriotism, and selflessness. And Middletown is honored to call you a member of our community, a police officer, and commend you for protecting people wherever you go. Congratulations. Well, that doesn't make me damn proud to be an American. I don't know what that is right there. But, Chief, I don't know if you want to say a few words.
I think what was said, I'm incredibly honored to have him as.
All right, let's, Ray, we'll have the TC come down real fast and, take a quick. I'm gonna hold this badass flag right now. It's getting too close to Kim. It was. All right, let's give another round of applause for our man. I love that. I Welcome home. Right.
Ready, Tony? Yeah. Okay. Our next item on tonight's agenda, we have a presentation recognizing April 2025 as Volunteer Month in the Township of Middletown. At this time, I'd like to invite the fire chiefs of the Middletown Township Fire Department, the chiefs of the Emergency Medical Services Department, and Office of Emergency Management to the front of the room to join Mayor Perry.
What's that?
It's not gonna affect your coffee purchase tomorrow, is it?
Who, mine?
Yeah.
Pete?
Sir?
All right, all right, I'm gonna slide down a little bit. We got plenty of room up here, all right. All right, let's give a big round of appreciation for all of our volunteer emergency services. So obviously today and this month for a lot of reasons is incredibly fitting that we have been working on our Middletown Volunteer Incentive Program. And today is the public hearing on phase 2 of that program. And I want to thank all of you because a lot of you have provided feedback, input to myself, to Tony, Rick, the Township Committee, Colleen, informing that program. And it was perfect for April to be able to get this done, to say thank you to all of our volunteers, because as Township Committee members, we know what the cost would be of fitting out a full-time fire department, of EMS, of OEM. Charlie Arrett here, I don't even want to tell you, if you need to start up a generator, I think Charlie starts about 30 every week, right, Charlie? Testing them, getting them ready. Even though we hope to never have to need them, we're ready to go. We hope to never have to need them. We hope that we never have to call 911 and have our fire department respond to a fire. And yet a few times this year, I've gotten to see them in action. Pulling up to Tony Falcinetti here, Chief Falcinetti, pulling a oven directly out of someone's house. I rolled up. I mean, Jimmy, was it you that was there too with him?
Okay.
Yeah. And I see fire engine lights, hanging out right off of Cherry Tree Farm Road. And there's Tony Falcinetti laying down on the ground. I don't even know what he was doing with this oven, putting out a fire in the back of this oven that they had pulled out of someone's house. But then we've had those hard structure fires, the tough ones that certainly Rick and Ryan know, and members of the TC have seen. To know the comfort and the action that is sprung at a moment's notice because of volunteers is unbelievable. Danny and I were talking about it just the other day about the focus that every single one of our chiefs and our volunteers have, all of them that are sitting in the back, that are here today, all of our OEM, our EMS that are here. It's remarkable. And we're sitting up in the conference room, and there springs one of our EMS rigs coming out, ready to go to support someone. When we need them, those volunteers are there, leaving their households, missing soccer games, leaving their home in the middle of the night to go help a fellow resident. That's why we created the Middletown Volunteer Incentive Program, and that's why today we're here to recognize volunteers. But it's absolutely fitting that we recognize the volunteers that are there for our neighbors, that are saving tax dollars and making a real impact. And for that, this Township Committee, these residents, and the 68,000 people that call this town home are indebted to you all forever, and to all those that are here today. So thank you all very much. So while I know Chief Falcinetti will certainly be getting up during the public comment period on the Middletown Volunteer Incentive Program. No, Tony?
You know me, I'm been.
You're a big talker guy. Yeah, yeah. We are very honored to have you all up here as we designate this month, April 2025, as Volunteer Appreciation Month in the Township of Middletown. It is vital for every resident to know what is saved and what is done out of the spirit for your fellow resident. And that is obvious by the people here in this room and by all the hours, man hours, dedication, phone calls, meetings, everything that happens in order to run your respective operations. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you. I can't tell you enough how appreciative I am, this governing body is, for everything that you all do for this township. Let's give another round of applause for our volunteers. So I won't go through all the whereases. I'll be Tony Fulcinetti for a minute here. But whereas the mayor and township committee extend our deepest gratitude to the fine individuals who generously donate their time and energy to this community. So now, therefore, I, Mayor Tony Perry, and the Middletown Township Committee do hereby proclaim April 2025 from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you as Volunteer Month in the Township of Middletown. Guys, God bless you all. Thank you for everything that you do. Ready? Ready? You want to talk? Okay. All right. Let's see. What? Here,
So you guys have the mayor flag for a while.
all right.
1, 2, 3. Thank you all.
Let's give another round of applause, please. We lost a couple of our recruits because I know that they were, there was a call right before we started it, right? Okay.
Donate Life Month.
Hey, Timmy. Yep, yep. All right. I'll see. Oh my gosh. All right.
Our next item on tonight's agenda, we have a presentation recognizing April 2025 as Donate Life Month in the Township of Middletown. At this time, I'd like to invite the Medtronic representatives Lisa Luisi and Michelle Napolitani to the front of the room to join Mayor Perry.
You don't have to be as shy as Chief Fulcinetti. Don't worry about it. How are you? Good to see you. So I literally turned just as a joke to the deputy mayor here. He's checking his right now too. I said, I better just make sure that I'm an organ donor on my license, which I am.
Good.
All right. It's verified. And now for all the public to know that as well, that watches this. But you know, as many of you know, the job and the role of a township committee member is part-time. And all of us have full-time jobs. I'm fortunate to work for a hospital network, and I've gotten to see firsthand what happens when someone is the honor walk that you have for people who are donating their organs to save someone else. And it's obviously incredibly heartbreaking for the family to see their loved ones that, you know, their organs are going to go save others. But you know what's going to happen on the other side of that surgical door. And when you see that flag get risen above the hospital, you know that day that someone has made a difference. And a difference that many people are never going to be able to fully appreciate because you don't see them. And while they see the scars, they don't see them. And a friend of mine, very publicly, Lauren Krupe, was the recipient of a donation. A teacher at St. Leo's School was the recipient, was on Good Morning America and all this, but a Lincroft resident and somebody that, with Mike Daneman, who's one of our firefighters, EMS, donated one of his kidneys to Lauren. And they worked in the same school together. And you think about the impact that something that big, but an effort so small when it comes to their decision-making to do it, is something that I've now gotten to see in my job, but also from friends and residents of this town. So while I took out my wallet and looked at my license and saw organ donor at the bottom, and I made Rick do the same thing too. All right, good, good. I was gonna publicly shame him if he wasn't. But please take a minute. And then, you know, everybody's crazed with real IDs, you know, now, because there's not enough appointments to get real IDs prior. Everybody should just calm down about that too. You can use your passport, it's okay. But you do have that opportunity. And I know I'm probably taking some of your talking points right now, but I'm gonna let you go.
Awesome,
instead.
and I don't know if I need to say anything after that.
Don't worry, you will. The one thing that I do ask you to do, because I look at my 3 kids and often I relate what I can to my 3 children. And, you know, my daughter is starting kindergarten in the fall this year. And I think about how fast she's grown up, and nobody wants to think about why someone needs an organ donation. But if the opportunity is there for my daughter's life to be saved by someone else's, or if my organs were able to save someone else's, I would want that to happen. And so I encourage you, when you get that skip the trip letter from Motor Vehicle Commission, just take a look. Just go the extra 5 seconds and just check to see whether or not you're an organ donor, because it could mean the difference between life and death for somebody that you know or somebody that you don't. So we're very honored to proclaim April 2025 as Donate Life Month. Please don't let me steal all the talking points for you. I'm just talking from my own experience, but I would love to hear from all of yours. So thank you. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Michelle and I work at Medtronic in Eatontown, and I'm the quality site lead there. I grew up in Middletown, Michelle's from Ocean. And we do this all over Monmouth County, all the different towns, and actually Monmouth County and Freehold. So there's about 4,000 people in New Jersey that are waiting for a donor, kidney, or it could be liver, lungs. And one donor can help 8 people live. And we have the honor of transforming the gift to orthopedic implants. So it can help people with spine surgery, ACL replacements, dental surgery, things like that. And one donor can help over 100 people with what we do on a daily basis. So we're really honored to be able to transform the gift and help as many people as we can on a daily basis. So as Mayor Perry said, make sure you check the box. You can actually do it on your phone. If you have an iPhone, it's really, really easy now. Yeah, so sign up to be a donor and you'll help someone. We all are.
Yeah, so there are life-saving opportunities and life-enhancing opportunities, like she was saying, with the musculoskeletal tissue and the sports medicine type grafts and tendons. And I'll leave you with one special story. Lisa and I, we have the honor and privilege to work and witness firsthand some of these donor families and patients and recipients. And some of them have been donors and patient recipients within the same family. So we had the opportunity to transform a gift from a young boy, Christopher Persinger from Wisconsin, age 17. He had checked the box on that license, and the family, you know, don't think much of it at the time, but he checked that box and unfortunately, tragically passed in a car accident. But the silver lining in this is that several years later, when his baby sister Caitlin, avid soccer player, had the accident on the field, he heard the knee pop and she needed the ACL repair. Guess whose tissue was left for her? One graft left out of the over 60 bone and soft tissue grafts that we were able to transform from Christopher's unselfish gifts. The one that was left was just the right size, spec, and need for her surgery. And we were able to courier that out to Wisconsin and reunite brother and sister. And it was just an amazing opportunity. So these are real life stories. They happen, and it's a silver lining in a very tragic situation. So I just wanted to share a little
Thank you for
story
that
with
story.
you. Yeah.
So realizing that the urgent need for organ donation and tissue donors across the country, the National Donate Life Observance promotes a greater understanding about life-saving benefits of donation and transplants. Moreover, the need is increasing, and New Jersey Sharing Network is committed to addressing that need through increased awareness. And the transplant of organs and tissue is a miracle of modern medicine made possible through the compassion of organ and tissue donors, enabling surgeons to save thousands of lives each year. One organ donor can save 8 lives, and one tissue donor can restore health to over 75 others. People of all ages, ethnic backgrounds, religions are touched by donation and by the serious shortage of organ donors that exists. Currently, there are nearly 4,000 New Jersey residents and over 100,000 Americans awaiting life-saving transplant operations. And every capable person can support this vital effort by registering as an organ and tissue donor, making their family aware of their wishes, and being willing to give the precious gift of life, sight, and life, health, sight, and life to people in need. And registering at an organ and tissue donor at the motor vehicle agency or online at NewJerseySharingNetwork.org, NJSharingNetwork.org, signifies our fundamental human responsibility to help others. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Tony Perry, and the Middletown Township Committee do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Donate Life Month in the Township of Middletown, and I urge all residents to join me in promoting organ and tissue donor education. Thank you both for
so
everything
much.
that you're doing. All right? Thank you. Sure. Whatever. Okay. Here we go. Let's give a round of applause.
At this time, we have a presentation recognizing Middletown South Boys 9U travel basketball team for winning the 2025 Mid-Monmouth Championship. I'd like to invite the team to the front of the room to join Mayor Perry.
Let's give it up for these guys. Back-to-back champs. I like it. We got our swag on and everything. Coach? You missed the memo on the swag? or-
Yeah, you know, it's my idea, but I figured I'd.
To be different? All right, well, how's it feel to be back-to-back champions? Does it make you only hungry for more?
Yeah.
You gonna be back? Okay, all right, well, let's work on the yes, moving forward. Real quick, I want you to do me a favor, since you've heard my speeches about teamwork and all this before, do me a favor, two sets of people I want you to thank. Turn around, thank your coaches.
Thank you.
Now,
Louder on that one.
there you go, yeah. Okay, try. For your parents, I'm gonna tell them, you're gonna thank them, just be a little bit louder for your parents, okay? All right, now turn around and thank your parents for everything. All right, there we go. All right. Coach, you wanna say a few words before I get into the certificates?
One, thank you, Mayor Perry. Thank you, the Township Council, for having us. Raven for all the work to do to get the certificates and everything. But what I'll say is, not only can these boys play basketball, but they represent the town and the community really well. We're building great character with these boys, and on behalf of the coaches who do an amazing job, and like you said, the parents couldn't be more prouder than these boys. And thanks for having us. This is a really special thing for us, something we look forward to every year.
Of course. Well, we appreciate you all representing Middletown so well, going out there each and every day, giving it your hardest, leaving everything on the court and ensuring that Middletown leaves once again as a champion. So we're proud of you. The town's proud of you. The committee's proud of you. And we'll see you back here next year, this time next year.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. All right, let's I'll read the certificates for you, and then if you guys got a chant or no? You got like a huddle up chant?
No. Yeah, sure.
All right, good. Sort of?
Goes on three.
All right. Well, think about it while I read this and tell me if you want to do it. The Township of Middletown hereby congratulates Middletown South 9U Travel basketball team on winning the 2025 Mid-Monmouth Championship. Congratulations on winning back-to-back championships and dedicating your free time to your team and the athletes that not only you are inspiring, but you're playing with today. Your leadership has given all the variability and opportunity to learn from each other as teammates, because a basketball game is not won by one individual, despite what LeBron James wants you to believe. But continue shooting for your goals, and we'll see you again next year for back-to-back championships, all right? You want to huddle up real quick?
Bring it in, guys. Bring it in. Come on.
Who said maybe?
On three.
You did, you did.
Three Eagles on three.
All right, here we go.
Loud on Eagles on three, guys. Loud on Eagles. 1, 2, 3.
All right. Raven, let's push your. Ready? I know you're all out of order now.
All right, we're gonna say Eagles on the count of three, okay? 1, 2, 3. Eagles! Awesome.
All right, let's give it up for our kids.
We're just going to take a minute and reconvene. I'm just going to read a few more for the record.
Okay, yep.
Okay, we just have a few more proclamations for the record. We have a proclamation recognizing April 22nd, 2025 as Earth Day in the Township of Middletown. We have a proclamation recognizing May 1st through May 7th, 2025 as the Elks Youth Week in the Township of Middletown. A proclamation recognizing May 4th through 10th, 2025 as National Small Business Week in the Township of Middletown, and proclaiming recognizing May 4th through 10th, 2025 as Municipal Clerks Week in the Township of Middletown. Thank you very much, everyone. And our next item, we have Resolution 20.
Never be able to do it without you, Heidi.
Oh, thanks, Tony.
Karen's Karen's doing the process.
Absolutely. You can't make it with both of us not here. Thank you, though. Next, we have the budget category. We're going to do Resolution 25-153, a resolution authorizing the township clerk to read the budget by title. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt Resolution 25-153. At this time, we have the 25-154 resolution authorizing the introduction of the municipal budget, operating budget. We have a presentation by our CFO, Colleen Lapp.
Colleen
you,
Lapp.
Heidi. I am going to give you a summary of, and excuse my voice, I'm sorry, allergies are killing me. Our 2025 budget, which we are introducing tonight. Joe, you can go to the next slide.
Next slide, Joe.
Okay, so this first slide is going to be a pie chart with the breakdown of our expenses in the budget. What it's demonstrating here is exactly what it's supposed to, just showing you in pie form the largest expenses down to the smallest expenses in our budget. Salary and wages are our largest, followed by operating expenses, which generally cover everything that's not otherwise identified on this pie chart. Insurances are another large portion. That's not only health insurance, that's all of our insurances. And then you can see from there, I mean, I don't have to go through every single slice, but that's what makes up the budget and where we spend our funds as we collect them in the 2025 budget year. Okay, next slide. This is a breakdown of the 2024 tax levies. The only reason it's done for 2024 is the 2025 levies are not all approved yet. So we do this just to show a demonstration of how every tax dollar that we collect, how it gets distributed. So in this, you can see the largest portion, 61% goes to the schools. Next comes to the municipality at 23%. And then we have the county at 11%, 10%, sorry. And then the other ones are all smaller ones. They're municipal open space, county open space, and our municipal library. And that, again, if you took $1 of taxes that we collect, you just apply that and 2 cents goes there, 22 cents goes there, and that's how it breaks down. Next slide, please. For 2024 versus 2025, our municipal levy is increasing by $2,524,740. That is a 3.99% increase. Our tax rate is projected to decrease due to the assessed values going up faster than our tax levy at a larger percentage. One of the things that I wanted to point out here was that our average assessed residential home this year is 728,000 and change. Our average assessed residential home has been increasing exponentially over the years. And I like to always do a look back. And that average value was 447,000 and change for a 63% increase since 2020. Again, on that average assessed home of 728,000, this year's increase in municipal taxes for only the municipal services would go up a little over $8 per month on that household. We have, as we all know, been in a period of inflation. And while inflation has gone up over the past 5 years, it's gone up over 23%. Our budgets have gone up a little over 15%. So we do try, although inflation hits our budgets as well. You know, we feel the same kind of cost risers. Everything that goes up in price goes up in price for us. But we're always well aware that that's difficult for everybody. So we try our best in areas that we can to contain or reduce costs to try and offset things like that. And that's that slide. Can you go to the next one, please, Joe? These are some cost drivers. I always like to point out some of the things that hit our budget this year that we had to deal with. The first one is in our planning department, OE. Because we've been fighting affordable housing in the courts, some of the affordable housing litigation, we have to sustain those costs. So this year, we've seen an increase to our budget of $330,000 for that particular, for that litigation. I'm sorry, the next one is our health insurance. We have an increase of $835,000, which is large. You know, it's a big number, but that's about a 7% increase. And again, this is something that we control. We try. We do a lot with our health insurance. We're self-insured. Although that seems like a very large increase, something like the state health benefits plan, that increase this year is what, you know, we always kind of compare against because that would be an option. Their increase this year was 24%. And I have been on webinars and other meetings where we're hearing that the state health benefits increase for other towns is going to actually probably be somewhere in the high 30% this year. So, you know, being self-insured and managing it the way we do isn't always easy, but it certainly helps to contain those costs for us. Fire hydrants, the rates just, it seems like every year the rates on the fire hydrants are increased by New Jersey American Water. So we had to increase that line by $120,000 to bring that line to $1.2 million for the fire hydrants. Stormwater management is somewhat of a new mandate. The legislation for it had come in a while ago, but the actual requirements are hitting now. So this year we had to increase that line by almost $300,000, bringing it to $520,000. And the one thing I will note on that is not going to taper off anytime soon, according to the regulations that are currently in place. That line will continue to increase. Fuel, that was just, you know, fuel is what it is. We had to increase that. There's nothing amazing there. Street lights, another one where rates were increased. So we had to increase this line by over $100,000 this year. And then another big cost driver is on the revenue side. One of the things that I'll talk about at the end that I do every year is I talk about our energy receipts tax, and that used to be collected locally. It's now collected at the state level. We've been almost flat in that number for many, many years now, where that is really a local revenue that used to increase each year and would increase our revenues and our budget, but it hasn't in, like I said, a very long time. The state had started trying to put money in and getting us back to where we should be, and then they didn't fund it. They didn't fund it last year. They're not funding it in the upcoming budget cycle. So we lost $630,000 of state aid, and that is a percentage on our levy almost. So that, you know, things like that drive the costs as well. And
That in and
therefore
of itself is 1%, correct? Almost
Yes.
nearly 1%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, next, Joe. So this is my slide I do at the end of each year. So what we should be at is 12,565,996 in our energy tax receipts, but we're at 6,117,000. So we should, in this year alone, we should have another 6,479,000, which would have negated any kind of increase and actually would have lowered taxes. And the whole time, as you can see, I started this in 2001. So this is 23 years where we've, it started. You can see where it started flat, and then you can see our green line where we start to drop down. And in that calculation, we are owed, we should have been paid over $89 million. And that's just staggering to me because that's almost our entire budget. And it's just a matter of, it should be local revenue. We're not the only town. We're not alone in this. And those funds should be returned to the local budgets so that we don't have to raise taxes for things. And that is it.
Okay. Any questions for Colleen? Colleen, I just want to say, first of all, thank you. Yourself, Tony Mercantante, now our former Assistant Administrator, Jim Van Nest, all of our department heads. This budget process is well, basically, September through today. And it really doesn't end until it is introduced,
Right.
making changes till the last minute. And, I think when you look at our operating expenses have only increased in this budget 0.61%.
Right.
0.61%. We've been able to hold the line on salary and wages at 1.51%. It's very tough with investments to ensure that we have a very healthy surplus, to ensure that we have investments in our health insurance trust fund, which if we were to be hit with a health insurance trust claim, we would be able to ensure that the money is there to make those payments and that we aren't eating into our surplus to be able to do that. We got hit with a couple of storms this year, as Ted can attest, that unfortunately hit the storm trust with these snowstorms that seemingly only come at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. Yeah, exactly. So bringing that trust and the rest of them up to where we all feel incredibly comfortable while making investments. I don't know if Craig is still here. He's not. Making investments in our police department, in other areas. We know every department head wants the world, but we also have to ensure that we're safeguarding the taxpayers. That's our fiduciary responsibility, and this budget does that. And I know it is always a whirlwind, Colleen, but on behalf of the Township Committee and everyone up here, I want to thank you for your efforts each and every year, because I know a lot of department heads come with a lot of questions and a lot of last minute requests. But it does take a very organized and thoughtful and very professional effort and that you display each and every year. So I want to thank you, Colleen.
Yeah.
All right. So no other questions from any members of the Township Committee? Okay. Motion.
Second. Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass Resolution 25-154.
So that just puts our public hearing on May 28th.
Yes.
Okay, May
So-
28th. All right.
Our
Minutes?
Our next item, we have minutes for approval for March 17th, 2025 regular meeting and April 7th, 2025 workshop meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve minutes. This time we have public hearing of proposed ordinances. Our first ordinance is 2025-3458, an ordinance authorizing entry of agreement for the purchase and sale of real estate and grant of parking and access easements with St. Mary Mother of God Church for the acquisition of Block 524, Lot 84, and a portion of Lot 101.01, Mater Dei, TBA Block 524, Lot 84.01, for recreation and open space preservation purposes.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2025-3458? Yeah, John, come on down.
John Spinelli, 91 Burlington Avenue. I just wanted to thank, the mayor and the township committee for this ordinance. It means a lot to me. In words of Rick Hybel, it's a win-win situation for the township and the church. But it means a lot being on the open space committee. I remember when Mater Dei closed in 2022, it was already that discussion. I remember Tony Mercatante saying, maybe sometime in the future, the township might turn it into a park, and it's really cool to see it almost come into action now. But it also means a lot being a parishioner at St. Mary's, an alumni from St. Mary's School, and of course, Mater Dei Prep in 2018 when it was still an active school. I just wanted to put for the public record, I wanted to honor some of the people some of the teachers and faculty at Mater Dei that really made the school for what it was. The deceased faculty, Martina O'Connell, Kevin Atridge, Phil Masterson, Mary Barbara Krell, and Sandra Latimer. And I also want to honor some of the teachers still alive today that, like I said, it made Mater Dei a special place, and it'll be cool to see it, be a public park in the future now. Eileen Cahill, Jeannie Dickinson, Albert Rebuffo, Rick Stimson, and Mike Benelli. So thanks again, and I'm really excited to see it hopefully, become a public park in the near future. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Any other member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Seeing no other member of the, Tara, come on. Yeah, well, at the end, we'll have a public comment. On the ordinance, seeing no other member of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and approve.
Second.
Recuse.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt ordinance 2025-3458 with recusal noted. Our next ordinance for public hearing, we have 2025-3459, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 105 of the Code of the Township of Middletown, governing the property tax relief payment program for eligible volunteers under its volunteer incentive program.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2025-3459? Chief Fulsonetti can't decide if he wants to speak or not. Kev, come on up. Chief Morrissey?
Turn into a ventriloquist.
Yeah.
Kevin Morrissey, 634 Locust Point Road. On behalf of Chief Fulsonetti and the other chiefs and the members of the Volunteer Fire Department, I'd really like to thank the committee for putting this together and delivering it. It will go a long way to strengthening our department and bringing up our members. We've seen some great success lately of new members join the fire department. I really want to thank you guys for that. It's very, very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Any other member of the public wishing to make public comment? I do want to thank all of our professionals certainly about this, but I also do want to thank the Commissioner of the Department of Community Affairs, Jacqueline Suarez, who her team, we had a great conversation, and the great part about this is that there's a lot of municipalities out there currently doing pay-per-call, which the Department of Community Affairs wants them to move away from as quickly as possible. And the commissioner literally said that this was the program that they were going to be recommending to others. So first in the state, and more great stuff to come to support our volunteers. So any other member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Seeing no member of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt ordinance 2025-3459. We have 2025-3460, a bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $1,850,000 for the Kings Highway Safety Improvement Project Phase 1 by and for the Township of Middletown and the County of Monmouth, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $810,350 in bonds or notes of the township for financing part of the appropriation.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2025-3460? Seeing no member of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt ordinance 2025-3460. This time we have 2025-3461, a bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $3 million for acquisition of property by and for the Township of Middletown in the County of Monmouth, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $2,850,000 in bonds or notes of the township for financing part of the appropriation.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2025-3461? Yes.
I don't know if I'm tall enough. Emily Donahue, 4 Huron Ave, Atlantic Highlands. I spoke last time and I asked the question, but I kind of sat with it and I wanted a little bit more clarification.
Yep.
You mentioned that it was for, I think, a sister sale of the St. Mary's property. Can you just go into a little bit more detail about what that $3 million bond is for?
Sister sale?
I think you said sister property. I don't know what the notes were last time.
This finances our portion of the acquisition of Modern Day to become a new township park.
So is that with the open space fund?
Yes,
Okay, perfect. So it's the bond against the open space since we're using bond.
correct.
Perfect.
The purchase price is being financed 75% by the county, but will remain a municipal park. So the township is responsible for paying for the 25%. So this will be bonded and paid for the debt service on that bond by our open space trust fund, which is dedicated to preserving and enhancing open space recreational facilities and historical sites in town.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, you got it. Any other member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Seeing no other member of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Recuse.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt ordinance 2025-3461 with recusal noted. Our next item on tonight's agenda, we have introduction of proposed ordinance 2025-3462, an ordinance approving disposition of the township's real property interests in Block 255, Lot 2, and Block 534, Lot 7 to the County of Monmouth and related actions.
Motion to introduce.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on first reading with public hearing to be held May 12th. At this time, I'd like to ask the Township Committee to adopt a consent agenda, including resolutions 25-156 through 25-170, removing 25-155 and 25-169 for a separate vote.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt consent agenda. At this time, we have Resolution 25-155, resolution authorizing fireworks display for Riverview Foundation, July 3rd, 2025.
I'd like to make a motion. Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Recuse.
Motion carries to adopt Resolution 25-155. At this time, we have Resolution 25-169, a resolution authorizing fireworks display, Beacon Hill Country Club, July 3rd, 2025.
Motion to approve. Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Recuse.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt Resolution 25-169 with recusal noted. At this time, we have discussion for fee ordinance.
Yeah, I just want to bring to everyone's attention that we'll be coming into the next meeting with an adjustment to some fees. I just want to do a quick summary of what that's all about. First, if you remember, sorry. Oh, I had to turn on my mic. Thanks, Don. Thanks for waving. We were going to be coming in with a new fee amendment ordinance. It's going to cover a few different topics, and I just wanted to give you a heads up. First, as you know, we adopted a tree removal ordinance. We're establishing a $25 fee for each request to look at somebody's tree removal plan. And this only applies if you meet the criteria for having to get a permit. If you don't need a permit, there is no fee. We still have to review it, but there's no fee. Affordable housing, our staff spend a lot of time helping landlords find the next tenants. So there's a $150 fee that will be charged for each tenant search. It does not apply for developments that hire an outside property management company who can do that. There aren't too many who do it, but there are some. So it doesn't apply to them, but anyone else, if we're finding the tenant for them and we have to maintain the waiting list, there'll be a fee for that. Planning and zoning development fees, subdivision site plan review fees haven't changed since 2009. We did a survey and bringing our fees into consistency with other communities. We were kind of on the low side. And the one that's probably the best news is, you know, fees almost always go up. We have a floodplain encroachment permit fee, which are actually reducing significantly, and I'll explain why. It's a $250 fee. And floodplain encroachment permits, if you're doing anything on your property, whether it's residential or commercial in a flood hazard area, there's an encroachment permit process that you have to follow. And it's become more and more complicated. I shouldn't say more and more complicated, become more and more applicable to more properties with the stricter regulations that the DEP are coming out with. So the fee was $250 for very many years. And the reason was because we had to have an outside consultant review those applications, because you have to be what's called a certified floodplain manager to review those permits. We have a member of staff who became a certified floodplain manager. And so we were able to reduce the fees significantly to $100 for commercial and $50 for residential requests. So it's going from $250 to a dramatically lower fee. So I don't think we've ever had that happen before, but because we have somebody on staff who can do that, we don't have to farm it out to a consultant anymore. So, but they should be ready for introduction at the next meeting.
Okay. All right, any questions? Okay, Heidi?
Yes? Township Committee comments?
All right. Committeewoman Kratz.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
See that?
First tonight.
See what I did there?
So it is an evening of thank yous. We are so incredibly grateful to all of our EMS. Our chiefs are here still tonight with us. Many, many thanks to all of you for your dedication and your commitment to town and to all of our residents. It doesn't go unnoticed and certainly doesn't go unappreciated. So we're really so thankful to each and every one of you. Many thanks also to Heidi and Karen, and on this special day for you, and also Colleen, to you and your team for all of your hard work. It's an incredible effort, and it really I can't ever get over how much work really goes into it. So thank you for being so diligent and really examining and going through the budget the way that, you know, all of you do. So thank you for that. And also thank you and to our officer Zampel for his service and his beautiful gift to the mayor that the deputy mayor may steal. So he should keep tabs on that for sure. But
I'll have Officer Zampella arrest him then.
there you go. There you go. So thank you. That's all for me for tonight.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you. Committeeman Senabrino.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know Committeeman Clark was chomping at the bit there. He's all ready to go, right? So I want to echo Committeewoman Kratz's comments. It certainly is an evening of thanks for everyone here. Thank you to our chiefs with regard to the fire department. This being Volunteer Month and Donate Life Month, I want to make a distinction here. My parents are 85. My father's 85, and he had said to me that he was drafted to serve in peacetime Vietnam. And you don't think about that today. You don't think about not being given a choice to serve in the military. But whether it's active duty service, like Officer Zampel, or Volunteer Month, or even Donate Life Month, these are choices that people today make actively to improve the country, improve the township, and make it a better place to live. And those are choices that they don't need to make. Very different than the draft. And luckily today, we don't need to experience that, but we have to thank everyone that volunteers their time and runs into danger to make the people that are not volunteering their time safe and make this nation safe and its township safe. So thank you very much for your service, and we appreciate that very great distinction that happens only by choice today. So that's one item, Mayor. The other item is I need to point out that when John Spinelli, did he leave already?
He did.
He left. Did you hear what I heard? He quoted Deputy Mayor Hybel. Right? You heard
I'm
that, right?
curious, yeah.
And he
That's why he
said-
left.
And he said, I'm going to quote Deputy Mayor Hybel and with regard to the modern day acquisition. And he said, in the words of Deputy Mayor Hybel, this is a win-win.
Yeah.
And it,
Which you
and
can
it
hear him
certainly-
saying too.
And it certainly is. So, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Deputy Mayor, I want to thank you for your help and leadership in acquiring this property for the township. And it certainly is a win-win in that the majority of the funds are not being borne by the local taxpayers, but are being borne by the county, that the township is maintaining ownership of the property, and all of the monies that are used for acquisition of this property will stay in Middletown. They will not go to the county, they will not go to the state, but they will stay to help improvements at the school, which is very, very important. And that current acquisition costs are made based on open space funds that have been acquired through the through that tax. And it's just so I have to thank Mr. Spinelli in quoting Deputy Mayor for a win-win as well. The only other thing I'll bring up is a great thanks to Colleen and to Mr. Mercantante for the great budget and all the work that you've done. And what I want to point out is that we actually have a 7% lower tax rate. And so the tax rate has gone down, and that's very important to understand. And that means that the values of the property in Middletown, the property in which we live, have gone up faster than the amount of money than the tax levy. And it's really important to point out. So 7%, the tax rate has gone down, and the amount to be raised by taxation has gone up less than 4%. So when you have that change in terms of the tax rate going down, it just means that this budget continues to be as tight as it can be, and we keep in mind all the taxpayers of the township to make it as efficient as possible. So Colleen and Tony and Mr. Mayor, thank you for your leadership on this, and I'm glad to be a part of this committee. That's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeeman Clark.
And you didn't think there'd be anything left for me to say?
No.
I'd like to echo everybody else's comments to our CFO. Your work, your team's work is invaluable to our ability to make decisions for the town, for our community. And your interaction with department heads like the fire chiefs and the police chiefs and DPW and every other group that we have in town helps to keep our services at a level that most towns can't maintain in the current situations that we've been in for the last few years financially, as a country and as a state. So that work is unreal. And I want to be on record as saying thank you. And then as in reference to Volunteer Month, I've been fortunate to be a member of the fire service now for nearly 30 years. I got to sit in the same seat as these three gentlemen up here with the white hats. And it was the honor of my life to do that. And we've been working really, really hard since I started in the fire department in the mid-90s to not only find new membership, but hold on to them, right? So as we grow in the community, 16, 17, 18 years old, you come in as an explorer, you go through Fire One, you go to college, or life takes over and you have to move, right? For whatever reason or another. Middletown's always been polarizing in the sense that a lot of people don't leave. Kevin's been here a long time. Dan's been here a long time. Tony's been here a long time. I've spent my whole life here. Deputy Mayor Hybel, the former fire chief, has spent his entire life here. And part of the reason that we decided to stay here was our commitment to the volunteer services. Over the years, it's been difficult, like I said, to maintain that. In 2016, we were very lucky to get a federal grant to start a process of retention and recruitment. And at that time, we were a model for the state as to how to kind of find creative ways to get to the younger people through Instagram, through Facebook, through all these different means that the fire service were typically dinosaurs about. We had to get into. We started getting out in front of the community at fairs and every community event we could get in front of. And, that goes so far, and it's 10 years ago. It doesn't seem like 10 years ago, Dan, that we were putting up those tents for the first time and trying to get people to stop by and say hello, but it was. At the time, Chief Kelly was in charge of the Explorer program, and they were an integral part of trying to raise the awareness for this retention and recruitment. And then the mayor and the deputy mayor came to us with a proposal of the volunteer incentive program, which is the next step in that ability to retain, right? So we can recruit, but how do we keep them? And it's programs like this that the five of us were able to get behind to try to retain this membership and hopefully incentivize people to stay in town the way that we've been fortunate enough to stay in town. So, it's something I'll be grateful for being on the committee as we did this. And hopefully it trickles down to the fire, EMS, OEM, and any other parts. And as Mayor Perry alluded to, we will be a model for the state again as to how to continue to keep people in the community ranks, volunteering, and offset the cost that would come along with having a paid fire department, EMS, OEM, and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to say thank you to the rest of the committee for supporting it and moving it forward, and Mayor Perry and Deputy Mayor Hybel for championing it to different levels, county and statewide. And that'll be it. Thank you.
Well, I got a lot there because nobody had a lot, so. I'm a little scared saying this, but, because there's a lot of people here in the crowd tonight. Win-win, yeah, no, we do a lot of things up here, this whole entire group, but tonight is a pretty special night. Definitely for me, I know for the committee here. It's not so many times we always get to do good stuff, but this volunteer incentive program for firemen, EMS, OEM is a big deal. Like the mayor said before, the state looks at what we're doing. It's kind of crazy that they can't come up with these things before us. I mean, we're able to come up with these programs that are just so needed for our volunteers. And being a volunteer, like Ryan just said before, an ex-chief, they get the guys and the girls to stay with the program is a big deal. So I hope this helps. It's not a ton of money, but it's a step. We really appreciate what you all do for us, and I can't thank you enough. Again, I got to bring up the modern day purchase. John Spinelli, he calls it, I would say at least every couple of weeks. Hey, how's it going? What's going on? Tell me about this tree. Tell me, a lot of questions he asks. And I appreciate that. And I wish he was still here. I can't believe he's not. But this was a very tough transaction. I've been a part of a lot of real estate transactions in my life. And this by far was a tough one. I think you can agree to that, Mayor. A couple years ago, this was a dead topic for us. This was not happening. We had the ability to go back and have a very good conversation with the parish and tell them, we need to get this done. This needs to be a park for this town. And we were able to do that. And I'm very, very proud of that, that these 23 plus acres are going to be preserved forever. It means a lot to me, to the residents, the family. So what are you saying?
28.
28. So I'm not counting the easement portion.
So 25.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. But it's very exciting. So I'm just I'm hoping everyone's, this is going to stay a positive night. I know there's a lot of people here, so that's all I have, Mayor.
I'm not gonna, I echo all your comments. So I'll open up for public comment. Yeah, I know, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Ricky, thank you. All right, I'll open up for public comment. Any members of the public wishing to make a public comment may do so. We ask that you state your name for the record and that you keep your comments to 5 minutes or 4 minutes. I'll let you know that you have 1 minute remaining. With that being said, any member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Tara, you had your hand up first, so I'm gonna go to you first.
Tara Fleming, 49 Brandywine Way, Middletown. First of all, thank you to Mayor Perry and the members of the committee for your service to our community. And thank you all with the careful and your respect that you have for the taxpayers of this town. You guys do such a great job. My question is a follow-up to something I brought up a couple of months ago about the fluoride in the water. I see we're still on the list on the NJA website of having fluoride. And I think I did send you, I don't know if you guys got it, all the studies about the damage that it does. The state of Utah has now banned it statewide. So I'm just wondering where things stand with the removing the fluoride from.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be a conversation that we have kind of in depth about this in its entirety, along with even engaging with the water company, because I'm not really certain what the legal metrics are, and I haven't, to be honest, asked Brian to take a look into it, because it's obviously an incredibly complex issue. So it needs I think a very important and constructive dialogue that needs to happen. But it's certainly on my list of things that I know you've reached out about, and certainly appreciate that and appreciate your service to our OEM.
Thank you.
I know you're sitting here with the team
Yeah,
earlier.
came
so-
to support Charlie. He's a great.
Oh, Charlie's the best.
Yeah. All right. Thank
Charlie
you.
and Charlie.
Yes.
It's the Charlie and Charlie show.
The other Charlie was.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Tara. Any other member of the public wishing to make it? Yep, come on down.
My name is Susan Makaitis, and I live at 63 Pape Drive in Navis Inc. I've been up here before. This is my 4th consecutive appearance at a council meeting. On my 3 previous visits, I requested that the council consider a resolution supporting the Superfund Act. Once again, I see it's not on the agenda. And Mayor Tony has indicated that he has a meeting scheduled in May. This is a particularly. Next week. Okay,
May
great. All right. As you may recall, the Superfund Act, if passed, would hold major polluters accountable to pay for the damage they have caused to our environment, rather than taxpayers footing the bill. This is particularly important at a time when taxes are expected to go up, not down, in Middletown. And federal funding to address climate disasters is disappearing at an alarming rate. This should be an easy yes. As a Middletown taxpayer, I'm respectfully asking why Middletown is reluctant to support a bill that would be beneficial to our town at no cost to taxpayers. Other Monmouth County towns that have already voted to support this bill include Asbury Park, Red Bank, Atlantic Highlands, and Long Branch. So I look forward to the council coming back with an affirmative vote on supporting the Superfund bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other member of the public? How are you?
Hi, Kristen Rooney, 1 Oakdale Run. I wanted to start by also thanking all of you for your service to our town. As residents, we really appreciate all you do and all that you do. So I was here just because we all know all the things that have been going on with our schools, and we've had lots of conversations, which I think was a silver lining of everything that's going on. We're kind of all paying attention now. So I know that our final budget isn't out, and I didn't see the details of that. So safe to assume that we're sharing the class threes in the interest of security being kind of
The first
in
we
the
heard,
interest of
the
the,
first we heard the school district call us was when they sent Tony an email on Wednesday.
okay,
That was the first time that anyone had
related to just deciding on
a
how.
shared service
Okay.
discussion. Zero conversations up until that point.
Okay, maybe we can talk about, I mean, our meeting is until Wednesday when they didn't put out the final details of our budget until earlier today, so I haven't seen it. I guess I was just more
has to go-
following up
has to go
as a
through-
person.
It has to go through a shared services committee.
Okay.
And quite frankly, the last time it went through a shared services, we had a discussion about this in a shared services meeting. It was described as a backroom deal. All of the shared services between the town and the school district have to go through a shared service committee. That's the beauty of it. All the other agreements that we've ever had goes through the shared services committee. And no one has reached out. We made an offer. That offer was rejected and no one followed up.
Who
So
are you waiting for? I'm personally just a parent, so I don't know
someone.
all these things. First time caller here.
This governing body sat in unison and gave what we felt was a very fair and good proposal to have a conversation on. I've had multiple meetings since then,
Okay.
but I have had no discussions and no one has called my phone or.
So a
sent-
shared services, meaning like from a Board of Ed perspective.
The Board of Ed would have to do whatever they do in terms of saying, we want to approach the township about X.
Okay.
Until Wednesday, no one, it's an already existing agreement that's been approved twice by this governing body and twice by the Board of Education. And when I was informed that the board voted 7-2 at their last board meeting, it was apparent and clear by the conversations that were being had in public that deal was not acceptable.
I think that vote, though, was on whether or not they were going to apply to raise taxes. So I don't think that had anything to do
Oh,
with.
no. The shared service agreement was called a backroom deal in public.
No, I mean, at least what I understand is the vote that they did at the last meeting was whether or not they were going to apply to the state to raise taxes to whatever amount.
Correct.
But they didn't vote on anything else there. So that's why I was asking, is that
It was more than.
something we're still
cle-
talking
It was
about?
more than clear in the opinion of everyone sitting up here.
Okay.
Including our administrator, who made it clear to the business administrator of the school district
Mhm.
that we made an offer
Okay.
it was completely eradicated and dismissed as a backroom deal and was not interested, and no one has reached out since.
Okay, so just from like when parents ask me, because I'm part of the PTA at the school, and, everybody heard everything that was going on, and we talked about everyone working together and planning, and I personally think that that's what we all want. Speaking as a parent and a resident of Middletown. So for me, I'm asking like, what do we need to do to continue to foster this? Because I
This
think.
governing body can do no more than it has already done.
So talking more.
Quite
to
frankly,
all involved.
quite frankly, I'm astonished that no one tried to have a conversation
Okay.
with us about it. That's pretty mind-boggling to me.
Okay, yeah, it's good to know, because it's something, like I said, that we don't know, because obviously I'm not involved at that level.
You and I had a conversation. Eric
We
was there.
We shared the.
We shared,
bullhorn.
well,
shared the bullhorn.
your husband held it.
My husband held it.
Held it for me.
Yeah, it's cute.
No, but there should have been an ongoing
Yeah,
dialogue.
still should be though. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I was asking like, where did that go? Because we don't know, right? We're waiting.
It's in their
So,
hands.
okay.
It's in their hands.
Then I'll ask a lot of questions.
Unfortunately, Amy Doherty can't come on Wednesday and say, hey, we need to do this. And it's
Okay.
like, where have you been for weeks?
Yeah.
Silence, radio silence,
Okay.
nothing
Okay,
for weeks.
Not to mention that our budget's now introduced.
Yeah.
So we really can't change our budget at this point.
okay. Well,
So
that's a shame.
I mean, you have to have a dialogue. It has to be, but to be described as a backroom deal is laughable because all the other services, all the other things that we're doing, investing millions of dollars into sprinkler systems and fields and all these different things. And then to be said, well, that's okay to be done in a shared service committee meeting. All the other costs associated. This budget that was introduced today pays 100% of multiple things that the school district benefits from and is related to the school district.
Yeah,
It's all got to come before the shared service. I remember my first shared service agreement with the Board of Education was removing administrative fees from the police officers who staff all of the sporting events and games that occur. And these are common sense things that can be done and they're good. So for it to be described as that committee to be described as a backroom dealing was.
I don't know who set up for, like I said, I'm here as a parent, so.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you my thoughts.
I don't know where that comes from. And I also don't know how the committees work. So like, I think from parents' perspective, we're all trying to just be more aware,
Sure.
right, of how all of these things work.
Yeah.
And, you know, what does that part of the budget cover? That's
Yeah.
why we're trying to be here and be present. And
Yeah,
it's
I
good.
appreciate
It's
it.
good to be in the know. I've always been involved at the school level, but it's obviously, this is all affects us. So, I just think, yeah, if parents are interested in all of us working together, so in the
I
interest
agree.
of that, I want to keep the conversation going. So like, if it didn't work this time, then what do we need to do to make it work next time? And like, how do we move forward and work together? Because that seems how, that was the silver lining of
There's a
all this
willing
for us.
partner on this side of the governance of Middletown and Middletown's elective bodies. You saw it. I mean,
Okay.
all five of us were there to offer
Okay.
assistance and.
So right now, you guys are kind of,
Well,
your
the
budget,
shared services meetings can be called at any time to be discussed.
yeah,
And so it's just a meeting.
okay.
So
So that's just something I'll ask about. I appreciate it.
you got it. All right,
Thank you.
Any other member of the public wishing? Yes.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Flora Katsaris. I live at 415 Martin Court, Leonardo. Continuing on with the schools, not the shared service.
Mhm.
I'm just curious because, you know, in the last, what's come out lately is the school board is $10 million in the hole.
Mhm.
So my question is, what kind of oversight is going on between the township committee and the schools that, because this obviously, this deficit has been building up for years.
Well, you were sitting right next to Joan Minuis, who's. a
Yes,
longtime
and I
member.
have.
I know,
talked to her.
I know she knows the answer to this question is,
Yes.
the five members of this township committee do not have any authority over the school boards and their budget.
Right, so like, because I'm sure through the years, I mean, you've done a good job writing up the township budget. You must have noticed the schools were in the red. And now they're $10 million in the red. And what's going to happen like going forward? I guess that's my question.
That's a question I think that you need to ask on Wednesday night.
Okay. All right. And I think my other questions then, according to Joan, are more answered by the school board, but.
I trust Joan's
Me too.
position on that, on judging those questions.
All
then.
right, because, and I'm just also a little confused because you're saying, oh, taxes aren't going up, yet the school board is going to ask for 10% property tax increase.
We don't control it. We control our 23%.
Oh,
So that's what
are you
we
telling me?
control.
Part of the property taxes aren't going up, but.
The township committee only has authority on our budget to approve our portion of that pie chart that you saw
Right,
up
but
there.
in the pie chart, we're funding as, I mean, I'm a taxpayer, so a big chunk of my property taxes are going towards the. school district.
61%.
Yeah, it's going towards the school district, which is fine. I'm all for it, all for education, but I'm just a little confused because you're saying taxes aren't going up, yet.
We're
the-
speaking from, we can only on this day speak from our budgeting process, no one else's. Because there is one person at the end of this dais here that handles every single day the finances of this town, of the township.
Right.
There's no other person I want sitting at the end of this dais dealing with that. Because I could ask her tomorrow, I will ask her a question and she will know the answer. If I asked her what 1% of our budget is and she had to blink, she wouldn't be doing her job. But I know she knows it down to the penny, exactly what 1% on our budget. I can't say that for everybody else. And I think, quite frankly, it's a little embarrassing that others can't do that.
Right. Because the school board is going to ask for 10% property tax increase.
Is that, I know
I
it
mean,
was,
that's what
I
I've
know it
read.
was up to, I don't know what
That's what I've read.
what it ended up at.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing that I read is that they voted down the 5.8% in favor of the 10%.
Up to 10.1%.
Right.
But I'm assuming on Wednesday? I'm assuming on Wednesday, they're gonna have to put out an agenda pretty soon.
Right.
What's that? It's out, okay. So whatever that budget says, if it says 10.1 or it says something else, I don't know.
Right.
Because we manage the budget of the township.
Okay. Although the school district is a big chunk of the township.
The biggest chunk.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing applies for the county. We don't control the county's budget
Right.
either, but they're 11%, Colleen? 11% of that budget line,
Okay.
of that pie chart.
So you don't like look over their budget and say,
We don't-
why are you guys running in the
Well,
red?
you know what? I told somebody the other day, I said, you know, they weren't from New Jersey originally. And they said, you had meaning me, you have the oversight to be
Right.
able to look at, I said, this isn't the city of New York, sir.
Right.
I said, we do not have, there are 9 members that are duly elected on the school board. That is their fiduciary responsibility. Our fiduciary responsibility up here is the 23% that we have introduced tonight.
Okay. Well, I hope at least you're pretty outraged that there's $10 million in the red.
Can I just add one thing?
Go ahead.
No one up here said taxes are going down. What was said is the tax rate's going down.
Right.
Tax rate's going down. So it depends on the individual value of your property, how much it's increased or not increased, which will dictate whether your taxes go up or down or stay the same. So the tax rate that we said is going down.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other member of the public? Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Emily Camelli, 42 Hamilton. Quick question. What can we expect from that $50,000 grant for the Dempsey property?
So as you know, the Dempsey property, we started getting rid of some of the invasive trees that were all around there. Because
Right.
some of them were compromising the exterior of the building, and that is part of the historic nature of the Dempsey house. We have applied to SHPO for certain historical designations. That's the state Historic Preservation Office, if you want. But the grant was, so we need to bring utilities to that building.
Right.
There's no utilities, there's nothing in there. So in order for us to be able to utilize that building, really the long and short of it is, we need to get power and water to that.
What about the surrounding property? That looks terrible. For the 17 years I've lived there, it looks terrible.
The
So
surrounding.
yeah, the forest area around it. I understand trees were cut down.
Yep.
But the area that goes between Highland and Thompson and Hamilton,
Yep.
it's a mess. It's a mess.
Okay. I'll take a look at
I've
it.
lived there 17 years and it's never been cleaned.
I was just over there the other day, but I'll take a look
Yeah.
specifically about what
Yeah,
you're.
I just worry about kids. Kids are biking. There's tree limbs. It needs to be
It
cleaned.
is the woods though.
It is the woods,
Give me-
but I would like to be proactive instead of reactive. And if you could, like, I have to clean my property and keep everything. There's a lot of brush. There's a lot of dead tree limbs. I'm just worried about safety
Purpose of the grant is to do a restoration plan for the building itself.
of the building.
Yeah.
Okay.
And once we decide, when we have that plan done, then we'll probably have to go out to bid for somebody to do the work.
Okay.
We'll include site preparation as well.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful property. It would just look beautiful to be cleaned up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have new signage that's going to come in and start explaining what the history of the Dempsey House is, because there's none of that. So there's a plaque that's going to be going towards the front wall, front peanut stone wall, and then there's also going to be an informational kiosk placed there as well.
So the grant itself is for the building.
Correct.
Okay. What about the $38,000 from 2024? From the New Jersey Historic Preservation Fund? It said there was $38,000
There's that one
and the one previous
one-
in 2021 for 15,000. Is that the area or all of this?
The previous one for $15,000 was spent to get it designated as a historic building.
Oh,
So
okay.
We did that part of it. The next two grants we got are for the restoration of the building itself.
Okay.
Which is.
See, we
which
as
is-
residents get excited to see the grants and we think it's going to be cleaned up for our
Yeah.
neighborhood. So
Yeah,
it's
a slow process.
it's a process.
Because you
Yeah.
have to go out and you have to hire, there's only a select group of architects that you can hire to work on historic buildings. So we
Okay.
have to select one, and that's out to bid right now.
Okay.
So somebody will be selected soon. And then
Okay.
we can have a plan of what we're gonna do, like the mayor said, has no usable electricity.
Right.
Has no water, has no gas.
No sewer.
We have to get all those into the building,
Mhm.
decide what we're gonna do with the interior of the building. You gotta make it handicap accessible.
Right.
So
So
we
maybe,
have an architectural plan that will do all that stuff, then we can actually go out to bid for the work.
okay. So maybe parks and maintenance can drive through and see if it
Yeah,
could be
I'll
cleaned
I'll
up.
go out there myself and take a look.
Okay, I'd appreciate that.
No
I've
problem.
just lived there 17
Yeah.
years and it's
It's
thumbs down.
got it. Any other member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Yes, ma'am. Yes, miss.
Tony, Mayor Perry, it's Catherine Black, 46 Valley
How are
Drive.
you?
Going back to the shared services and going back to Board of Ed, because obviously that is very critical with what we're dealing with right now. Can you confirm for us who is on the shared services committee?
It's always the mayor and deputy mayor, and then the president and vice president.
Okay, so if any other decisions or things in terms of the class 3 officers or the purchase of the property, those conversations only happen in shared services, or would you be able to have those conversations with other Board of Ed members?
I mean, I don't know. There might be rules that the Board of Ed has. Rick and I are always at these meetings. I think that the Shared Services Committee is not the four of us. Those are the four elective members, plus Tony, Jess Alphone.
Okay, so that was my question. in
Amy
terms of
Doherty.
Who is in the
Yeah,
shared services?
and then there's a
committee?
public member,
Who's the
right?
public member? Because you've already just mentioned more members than what the original 4 were.
I thought you meant who are the elected members of there? No. So there's always the professional. So, and then it depends on the subject matter. So like if it's Bayview Schools, which we're putting irrigation down on and sodding all of Bayview Schools fields, right, at our costs. We will have Janet Dellett in there and Ted Maloney in there as DPW and Recreation. They'll come in and they'll be invited members. So it's a productive conversation and we're not just shooting from the hip.
Okay, because I'm confused with the way that you originally just explained that a couple minutes ago I know that there was another Board of Ed member that I believe said it was a backdoor deal and, emotions were high, but I feel like because those emotions were high, we're losing a benefit, we're losing that opportunity to work together to be a true shared services. And I feel like that communication or maybe like you even said, the technicality behind it or the rules or the regulations may have been lost in the shuffle. And because of that, the town, the school, the students are going to suffer.
I think that the understanding that there are the appearance that this is the only shared service to ever occur, shared service meeting to ever occur is you know, that was the perception that I think came out. And I would like to point to a half a dozen other shared service agreements like Bayview School that are a direct result of a shared service agreement. Just like every other committee that occurs for the Board of Ed or for the township, those things come out of those respective committees, and whoever the head of those committees is, for the school board, for example, they get to come out and report on what was done. And then that's recommended then to the entire board, and then the board gets to discuss it, and then they get to decide whether or not to move forward. So, you know, Joan and I, we got the one done for the police, getting rid of the administrative fees for the police back in, what was that, Joan, 2021? Something like that. So when Joan was the president. So we were able to do cost saving measures, but it takes two willing partners. And unfortunately, the display of this is a backroom deal is non-existent in terms of reality. And you have to be able to have a conversation. You can't just point fingers.
I completely understand, and I understand, like I said, where the emotions were high, but this may be different than all of those other shared services in the fact that there was so much publicity, there were so much town involvement. There seems to be a lot that may have fallen by the wayside just because of one phrase, and that's unfortunate. And I feel like that's unfortunate from everybody that's involved. That's why I wanted to know who was shared services, because if it was supposed to come from shared services, then they are the people that are in charge. They're the people, there are parents that we would go to. They're the people that are head of a group that should have put those emotions aside and worked together. So I think that's unfortunate. And I hope that in the future, there's a way to kind of avoid that and to make it so that we are a unified Middletown. It's not just the schools and the township committee. We are a unified Middletown, which you even, I think, wrote in a letter that you sent to us talking about this plan. You sent us a letter instructing us to go to the Board of Ed meeting because there was this wonderful proposal on the floor. And I don't believe you were even at that Board of Ed meeting to then approach it or to speak to it. So you just understood what was happening at that Board of Ed meeting from secondhand. And that's unfortunate. I think people could have asked you some questions.
But that's not my meeting. Like,
But you sent us a letter instructing us to go to the meeting.
Stating that we had offered a proposal.
Yes, and you said that it was a meeting that we should all attend.
Sure.
But how can that not be your meeting, or how can that not be something that
Because it's
important to you?
Of course it's important, but it's necessary for governing bodies to be able to operate. I'm not going to sit there and order or make the appearance that I am ordering anyone to do anything. We made a proposal, what from our perspective, a very fair and what we thought position that provided the school board the ability to take the proposal or at least have a conversation on the proposal and take it to the next level. It was obvious from that meeting that that was not going to be the case. And that's okay. It's not my job to say one way or the other what those board members should do. But this township committee offered to make a proposal. And if you look around at all the other municipalities, the 53% of municipalities that all have the same ability and all in the same similar predicaments, the governing bodies are not making overtures to the districts. It's up to the districts to figure it out for themselves. And if the district wants to figure it out for themselves, whether I agree or the rest of the governing body agrees with the mechanism is each our own. But my encouragement of people going out to the Board of Education meeting was for the pure fact that we did make an offer and we did offer to do something that we felt was fair. But again, you can sit there and say it's my meeting. It's not my meeting.
No, it was an important meeting, and I appreciated the offer, and I think I can speak for a lot of town taxpayers and parents and even students. We appreciated that offer, and I think at the meeting, it wasn't turned down, that specific proposal. I believe that the other vote happened because the Board of Ed members found out that even with that proposal, it wasn't enough to be passed by the county superintendent. So they had to revise that in order to open it up to find a budget that would be accepted by the county
I heard
superintendent.
not one cost-saving measure. I have not been informed of one plan despite multiple board members telling me that they were going to share a plan. We're gonna get you a plan. We're gonna show you how we're gonna save money. We're gonna show you how we're gonna put you on a path of prosperity to get out of this. Again, radio silence. No, nothing. Okay, that's okay. It's not my responsibility. But you can't then sit there and say that it's my responsibility to get you out of it. I made an offer. If you say it's a backroom deal and that it's no good and that we're giving stuff away and all of these antics, well, that's a pretty clear no. It's a pretty clear no. And someone could have picked up the phone and called and said, it's been 24 days since that meeting. 24.
So that goes back to my original question. Who do I contact? Who is part of that shared services that did not pick up the phone and call you? You said it was
The two members
the
that are on
president
the
and
shared
vice
service
president
did,
of the Board of Ed.
yes, they did. They were there to present it. Okay, they were there to present it. Whether or not,
And so then they didn't contact you, being part of shared services, following that Board of Ed meeting to go over what had happened.
I don't know any of the conversations that the Board of Ed had in executive session or otherwise to discuss this. It's again, not under our prerogative. So if the district wanted to have a conversation, Amy Doherty could have called, emailed, or talked to somebody and said, hey, Tony, can you call for a shared services committee meeting? That didn't happen until Wednesday. Wednesday at what was it, like 3 o'clock? That's not a serious conversation. We're just following up because we have to. So
Thank you. Thank you for being receptive to our questions. Because
Sure.
we're new to this.
I get it.
We don't know how this
Totally.
happens. We want to make sure that it doesn't happen in the future. We want to make sure that, as a town, as parents, as people, we want to make sure that we're united.
I'm
So
with
thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much. Any other member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Don, come on down. Would you drink my water?
What excitement.
What's up, Don?
Hi, my name's Don Watson, living at 1 Collinson Drive, and that's in New Monmouth. I've been coming to these meetings for about 25 years now, and there are a few issues that bring people out, and this seems to be one of them. I'm glad that there was some publicity about it, woke some people up, got more people involved in the workings of our town and getting things accomplished. Might be the hard way of doing it, but it's getting done. And thinking about getting things done, we just had our brush picked up. You're talking about stormwater management earlier, and I believe we should be sweeping the streets after the brush is being picked up, because there's a lot of debris left in the streets. Then it rains and it all washes into the storm basins. Very poor example of stormwater management. Also, if we're
The
going,
increased costs aren't related to things like that, though.
but that should be-
Calculating how much rain
No,
trickles off of leaf piles at the fire academy is not my definition.
I'm talking about the stuff in the street.
No, I hear you, but when
All
you
right.
look at those numbers that were up there during the budget presentation, and you see, Colleen, how much was it? $520,000 that we're spending calculating how much rainwater gets accumulated on leaf piles at the fire academy. If I'm sitting on the other side of this dais, I would be screaming at the fact that the state is requiring us to calculate how much rainwater is coming off of leaf piles.
Well, to be more a little proactive, it would be best to.
It's not about being proactive or
I'm not talking about
inactive.
calculating how much rain is falling on.
But that's how much we're forced to pay
Yeah,
because of that.
We're also paying by not sweeping the streets.
But my point, and which I think you could understand,
I
is
understand.
if you're spending 500,000 plus dollars, what are you not spending that $500,000 on?
Sleep in the streets.
Right? How many more times will we be able to do that if I didn't have to spend $500,000 and I could turn to Ted and say, buy another street sweeper and hire two
You
more.
already have 3, I believe.
We have 2. We have 2. We have
Okay.
2.
Let's use them.
Well, they are out there, but we got 375 miles worth of roadway that they got to accomplish. And every time you spend $1 on an unfunded mandate over actual things that can benefit, well, you laugh, but
I'm not laughing. It's just
it's true.
I've been here for 25 years. I hear the same
Just so
thing.
we're clear, part of the increase was also to hire two.
It should be
to hire
incorporated
two
as part
dedicated
of storm,
drivers for
part,
the
that's part
brush
of
pickup.
collecting the
Okay,
brush.
for the street sweeping.
It should be included as part of the brush pickup
Got it.
and leaf pickup. That's all I'm trying to
Okay.
say.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
That's it. All right.
Will it be done?
Yes.
Yes. And-
One Collinson Drive will have a truck going by it by Wednesday, right, Ted? There you go.
It's
Good.
taken my neighbor across the street over a week to get his garbage can replaced. He doesn't know because he doesn't answer the phone, but the girl down at the office does.
Well, respectfully, I got here today and wasn't able to talk to Ted because he was on the phone. So,
He wasn't talking to me.
We usually turn garbage cans around in a couple of days, that's it.
I know because you replaced mine already and it was the next day.
Right.
You know, Andy was out there to give me a new garbage can.
yeah, Don.
I shouldn't get special treatment. Well, I'm calling for my neighbor across the street and I'm not getting special treatment for him.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, it's only one time use?
You got to turn it in at the end. Any other? Oh, sorry, Don. Go ahead.
That's all right. That's all I got. Thank you
All right.
very much.
You got it.
Oh,
Thank
and
you.
one more thing.
Yes.
If you're gonna sweep the street, don't come on a garbage or recycling collection day because it's like this down the street.
So you got Mondays, Fridays.
You're really you're limiting us now, Don.
All right.
Hey, you
Any,
only got two sweepers.
any other member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Yes, ma'am.
My name's Jessica Donahue. I live at 61 Burlington Avenue in Leonardo. Sorry to bring up the shared services question.
What's that?
Sorry to bring up the shared services question
Okay.
again.
Yeah.
I just, as a resident, as a parent, I'm just trying to get clear on where things sort of fell apart. So I know that the Shared Services Committee, you met with the president and vice president of the Board of Ed. You guys came up with a plan that was presented to the Board of Ed, and that was perhaps rejected, perhaps not. I know they voted just on the budget and tax increase and all of that night.
Mhm.
Usually when you're negotiating a contract back and forth and maybe the other party, the Board of Ed, didn't want to agree to the initial terms of the contract, you would maybe present a counter offer or an alternative proposition.
Mhm.
Would that have come from the president and vice president of the Board of Ed?
It would have come back from the board. The
But-
board would have reported back to those individuals and they would have come back to the shared service committee.
But it would go back to the president and vice president, that would have to
The
come to
board,
you.
the board would have to go back to, when, in that
Right.
meeting, the board could have given direction to those individuals to say, let's have a conversation with them about X and let's see if they'll do X.
Okay, and then when Amy emailed you on Wednesday, and it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's been 20-something days since the last meeting, what was the response from your office or the township? Were you willing to work with her? Were you
Tony,
saying- was there-
Tony said, we're always willing to meet, but it's been radio silence.
Okay.
And it was very clear and abundant that there was no alternative proposed to the township.
Okay, so if the Board of Ed has this meeting on Wednesday and they have an alternative proposition for you guys, are they able to bring that to a shared services meeting at this point? Or is your
Always.
meeting, is your
They can
budget
always-
closed for 2025, 2026, and we can't have this?
But just because the budget is finalized or, you know, has been introduced and has a public hearing, the shared services meetings happen all throughout the year.
Okay.
So it's always an ongoing conversation. It has to be, but it can't happen at the speed at which one party chooses.
Okay, so I think our
We
question.
delayed our budget just for that. And that is why we are here on April 28th, introducing the budget rather than 2 weeks ago.
And
Correct,
then-
Colleen? I'm sorry, 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks.
So our question should really be directed to the Board of Ed on Wednesday.
Board
To
of-
say, do they have an alternative to work with you guys, the shared services, to get
course.
that part of the
Of
cost
course.
covered? Okay. All right, thank you.
You got it. Any other member of the public wish to? Bruce, I got you next.
Wow, I'm really short. I'll try to be quick. Do I need to say my name or do you have it? Emily Donahue, 400 Huron Ave, Atlantic Highlands. Colleen, I was also very impressed with your budget. I got the opportunity to see it on Friday. So more of a question just moving forward. I saw that it was on the agenda and then taken off the agenda for today. The full budget was. The document went from 200 pages to 91. So I don't know why that happened, but I was able to get it. So my question is though, it stated the fact that it would be available 1 week prior to this meeting, but the agenda wasn't put out till Friday. So I'm just wondering what to expect moving forward is I didn't even know I could ask for the budget.
1 week prior? The agenda has to come out 48 hours.
Not the agenda, the budget. It said that to go by title, the budget had to be out 1 week prior. That was, sorry, available to view.
I've never heard that rule ever.
It's written.
It's for the introduction
Yeah.
No, that's, you're talking about for the public hearing.
hearing.
The public hearing, it's available for we have it out for 4 weeks.
It'll be advertised on Friday? On Friday in the newspaper and it's available online as of tomorrow. And you will have it all this time until May 28th,
Perfect.
when the public hearing is that day.
Scheduled.
Yeah, because the proposal today does mention the fact that it would be 1 week prior. So I'm just trying to get clarification since I was looking for it. But it does mention, I mean, I'm just reading what was in the
That's
agenda
just
today.
for the public hearings perspective. We have to have it out available. The budget itself, because there's not having public comment on the budget today, we hold the budget out for 4 weeks.
Yeah, it has to be 28 days.
28 days,
Perfect.
exactly.
So it meets that. That's all I just wanted to know because I was
It-
wondering what I saw on Friday. It was there,
Believe
it's
me,
gone.
Colleen and Heidi would never let us do anything that would jeopardize the passage and introduction of the budget.
100%. I was actually very impressed with what I saw, Colleen, as well. But I did notice that the school one went up to 180, which was an increase that I think that aligns to what the board was going to present. So I thank you for the work that you did on that. I just want clarification moving forward. So thank you.
And no, I just want to point out too, just so you know, for your own, it wouldn't be prudent for us to put out before this meeting because this governing body, that budget document is their policy document. So to put it out to the public before they've had the opportunity to approve
But it was there.
But I think it's referring to 1 week before the public hearing, as the mayor's
Yeah,
saying.
the budget was released though on Friday, a 200-page document that was, I got from your website.
Well,
So
part
it
of
was
the
weird.
agenda, yes.
Yeah, but then it was removed.
Because like she said, it was a policy document, so it was a mistake if it was,
Okay,
if it was
that's fine.
removed.
I just wanted, because I saw it and then it went
Yeah.
away. So I was like, oh, it was interesting. But thank you.
Thank you.
No
Yep.
problem. Bruce?
Bruce Stafford, 39 Brainerd, Port Monmouth. Hopefully this comment's going to help Don Watson's situation with sweeping the streets. Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe quite a while back, Tony Mercante made mention that the state of New Jersey came out with a mandate that all the streets in Middletown have to be swept 3 times a year. Correct?
DEP delayed it themselves. It's not a legislative change. It's a regulatory change that the Department of Environmental Protection has instituted. They had since, when we first started discussing this last year, delayed that. They did delay it for several years, the enforcement action of the Department of Environmental Protection. So it does take effect this year, which is why part of the increase that you saw in the stormwater management portion included, correct me if I'm wrong, it was 2 people, correct? 2 drivers of both vehicle street sweepers that we have.
Okay, so it goes into effect this year that the streets will be swept 3 times?
Correct.
I think I remember 3.
Don, you didn't wave to me this time. It's,
I didn't mean to catch you off guard.
no, it's okay. It's twice a year.
He loves
but-
talking about street
But,
sweeping.
no, I hate it. But also 48 hours after snow is gone, you have to sweep also. So if you have 5 snowstorms in a given year, let's hope we don't. After every one of those, we have to sweep the
Yeah,
streets as well.
I understand. I know the regs. After a snowstorm, you're supposed to shovel your sidewalk within 24 hours too.
Well, people definitely don't do that.
I
but-
know that.
But we're gonna have to sweep
know
the
that.
streets, yeah.
I live on a street where a lot of them don't get shoveled. We do have 2 new sweepers currently and 1 old one,
No, we have one new one.
One
and
new one, one old one.
and 1's on order.
One's out of water, right? Well, we had a third that's essentially going to.
The metal's been manufactured though.
Sorry?
The metal for the new
Yeah.
sweeper's been manufactured.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Any other member of the public? See no member of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and adjourn.
Second. Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes, have a good night, everybody. Thank you all.